So welcome everyone. I think we can maybe start. So I think we have to start from page 16 today. Or maybe, I think we had completed this much, I guess. Yeah. So would anyone want to, maybe we'll take an overlap. So we'll take the first para again, just to have an overlap, and then take up the second para along with that, and then take up reflections. So anyone who feels ready to read can please read it out aloud for us. Unmute and please read.
Shall I?
Yes, Shamlaji, please.
Yeah. The mother. There is a consciousness in the cells. It is what we call the body consciousness, and it is wholly bound up with the body. This consciousness has much difficulty in changing because it is under the influence of the collective suggestion, which is absolutely opposed to the transformation. So one has to struggle with this collective suggestion, not only with the collective suggestion of the present, but with the collective suggestion which belongs to the earth consciousness as a whole, the terrestrial human consciousness which goes back to the earliest formation of man. That has to be overcome before the cells can be spontaneously aware of the truth of the eternity of matter.
Yeah, so until this much we had reflected upon last time. And of course, if we start again, we'll have more reflections. But we will maybe take up now this paragraph. So Shamlaji, if you can continue and maybe read this one also.
Okay. As you descend into the domain of the cells, even of the very constitution of the cells, how it seems less heavy. This sort of heaviness of matter disappears. It begins again to be fluid, vibrant. This would tend to prove that the heaviness, thickness, inertia, immobility is something added. It is not a quality essential to. It is the false matter, that which we think and feel, but not matter itself as it is.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so anyone wants to share anything on this? This is very interesting. I think there is a resonance here with how we, when there is a fear in us, about something, oh, this may happen, that may happen, or maybe some anxiety, some worry of some kind, something which is burdening us, dark and heavy. And whenever we really have the courage to go close to it and not keep fearing it, I think something resolves for us and it becomes light again. But if we don't question, if we don't close to that fear, that anxiety, that panic, then from far off it always appears like, something really heavy and don't know what to do with it. So I feel there is something like that here as well, that if we go now, mother is here talking about the physical consciousness, and we know that mother did a lot of work in transforming the physical cellular consciousness. So she's sharing that as we descend into experimenting, invoking this light of consciousness in the cells, which have forgotten that they are just a second. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so when we go into the cells, and I'm sure some of us may have already experimented or are experimenting with this, whenever you are quietening yourself down, either before sleep when we are lying down, just connecting with the body consciousness, and as if you are touching the cells, you are getting in touch with the body. So bringing the whole mind completely, fully into the body, and being in touch with the physical consciousness, the cellular consciousness. So mother says that in the beginning, when we look at from far away, it appears really dark and heavy. But when we go close, then she shares that as if it this heaviness of matter which appears from a bit far off, that it is there, that begins to be fluid. It's not the way I was thinking it to be. The more close I go, it becomes fluid and vibrant. So I think it's again just words if we don't experiment and have our own practical realization of something here. And then mother says that why is it so? Because this would tend to prove that the heaviness, the thickness, inertia, immobility is something added. It is not a quality essential to. It is the false matter. And same is true for our beings. Whenever we have disturbing emotions, whenever anger, jealousy, all the disturbing emotions are really sticking tight to us, we feel heavy. We feel very drowned in those emotions, and as if we are tightly glued to them, and extremely uneasy also. We are not ourselves. Why? Because this is added on from outside. This is not our true nature. And then through various, of course, tools and methods, when we get in touch, we go close to any of these emotions and find their true nature. As in Buddhism, they would say that when you really go close to either any thought, feeling, any disturbing emotion, you see that their nature is empty. They're arising from emptiness, they're disappearing from emptiness, then again they're arising from emptiness, like a bubble. And then you can really relax. There is nothing real out there, that which is burdening my mind. So this burden is something added, and that is why it brings a lot of unease in the being. Even this thickness and inertia and dullness of the matter, although we can become habituated living with it, that's a different matter, and then find many ways of entertainment to relax, but it is not our natural essence. This heaviness, thickness, dullness, darkness, it's not true to our nature. And that's why all of us want to be light, relaxed, and happy. So mother is saying that this quality of thickness, darkness that we feel when we first get in touch with the cellular consciousness, it is the false matter, that which we think and feel, but not matter itself. Again, when you look at thoughts, feelings, storylines brimming up in the mind, they look so real, rigid, very heavy, you know, giving me so much of disturbance. But when we really put effort to find out their true nature, all of that disappears and we have lightness and emptiness, like there is a lightness in the being, ease in the being. So it is just my own perception of how I see things and understand things, which makes it very heavy and dull and many a times even dark. So I feel that there is more to this paragraph. I can see maybe at many levels this holds true for us. So please inviting more reflections if anyone wants to share.
Yeah, just again, this thing, it feels, how when, especially when we are in a tough situation, things feel really big and heavy, right? Like it feels that, just say it's Raat ki Subeh Nahi, like there's no morning, the dark is so night, the night is so dark. So I think the same thing I felt when I was reading this, that it appears, right? Like once you're in it, it feels like quicksand that you're getting pulled and pulled and pulled. And yet, when grace or light descends into your life, it suddenly disappears, right? Like sometimes when we look back, the situation was not that bad, and yet we felt it was like, I was at the end of the tunnel or something like this, like not end of the tunnel, but and even, say emotions like anger, like reactions like that, that we are so used to getting into them and they are so hard and gross and they like just overtake you and it feels there's no way out. So again, this thing about feeling something and it being there actually is kind of a bit reflected here. Sorry, I'm having some issue.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, would anyone like to, yeah, any more additions, anyone? Okay, so no issue. I think there are no reflections at the moment, which is okay. So we'll take further and maybe continue with the next one. It's a big one. We'll go very slow. Keep sharing if there are any doubts, any reflections in between. Happy to take them. So let's take maybe this much. Yeah. Would anyone want to read?
Yeah. Shall I start?
Yeah, please go ahead, Ritu.
Inner transformation and the physical resistance. The mother, the force that comes down into one who is doing yoga and helps him in his transformation, acts along many different lines, and its results vary according to the nature that receives it and the work to be done. First of all, it hastens the transformation of all in the being that is ready to be transformed. If he is open and receptive in his mind, the mind, touched by the power of yoga, begins to change and progress swiftly. There may be the same rapidity of change in the vital consciousness, if that is ready, or even in the body. But in the body, the transforming power of yoga is operative only to a certain degree, for the receptivity of the body is limited.
Yes, thank you, Ritu. So I thought I'll just maybe add something here from another book. So I think first of all, as with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, we see that the physical transformation is the last to happen. Why? Because it's most rigid, and it's first the transformation would begin at the subtler planes, which are transformation of thoughts. You know, how we slowly become more and more conscious of our thoughts, our speech. You know, what am I speaking? What am I thinking throughout the day? You know, and are those thoughts necessary? And then we see that, oh, if they are negative, not necessary, then we, kind of offer them to the mother or reject them away, and do not follow indulging into those thoughts. So first is a transformation of thoughts and feelings, because they are more subtler levels and easier to change. We can become conscious of thoughts, we can detach from thoughts and feelings, and then we can allow only those to enter in which are in alignment with our inner truth, which are pure, and reject all the impure ones, because there is a discerning intelligence which knows, oh, this is pure, this is impure, can be rejected. So in the beginning, as mother shares at many many places, that we start with the transformation of thoughts and feelings, so the mental and the vital domain, and then begins the transformation of the body or the cellular consciousness, which is why it is the last, because it's the most difficult to undergo change. It has more obscurity. And why it has more obscurity? Because we will see that when we read about the story of creation, or how the soul started to evolve, or how consciousness started to evolve when it got plunged into darkness, we see that the first thing that came out was uh, rocky inert material. Like, how we, even in Big Bang theory, we have planets emerging out of like this Big Bang. So whether Big Bang was there or not there, the thing is that the rocky inert material, which appears like as if it's not alive, because the consciousness is so masked under the darkness and dullness of ignorance, that it is not showing itself up. So that is where the journey of consciousness begins in manifestation. So first, stone. So stone is matter. It's like you can touch it, you can feel it, it's hard, right? And then consciousness evolves. So we have this single celled organisms, amoeba, or like primitive organisms coming out of um, in the on the planet, or on other planets. And then slowly it takes even a bigger form, so becomes a plant. So now in plant, that's why we offer flowers. If I want to express my feelings, I would offer flowers to someone. Why? Because it has some consciousness. You can feel that consciousness in the flower, the feeling part, the vital part. So first is matter, inertia, dullness, inconscience, the body, the thickness of it. Then is the feeling part, the vital, and the more subtler is the mental part. Now that, slowly organisms evolving, dinosaurs and all the apes species in between, lower animals, and then the higher animals like intelligent species like elephants, chimpanzees, more mental beings. And then slowly we have then human beings. There even the subtler, now consciousness is becoming even more refiner and subtler. We can understand things, we can look at things, we can detach from things. So that's mental consciousness, is subtler kind of consciousness. And that is how, going back to the plant level, we had feeling consciousness arriving, which is again subtle kind of consciousness. And then we go back to stones, which is the body, the matter, which is a thick, dark, inert consciousness. So we still carry imprints of our that inconscience from coming from stone. And that is why many a times the body appears so dull, that as if we have become a stone, almost that kind of a dullness. So that is why it is easier first to start with thoughts and feelings, purification of thoughts and feelings. And then Yes, of course, Claudia. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting. So when you say like the rocks are like the subconscious matter and the heavy ones, why? Well, are not the rocks. We use certain minerals like quartz, crystals, gems to heal. I mean, to help the body to heal.
Actually, your voice is a bit hazy. Okay. Taru, could you understand? Okay, I also could not. Claudia, maybe if you bring the microphone, maybe, I don't know, closer, or maybe do some variation.
There, do you hear me?
It's a very
Do
muffled
you hear me
voice. So,
there?
yeah, no, it's not clear.
Okay, wait. There?
Yeah, better.
Okay. So my question is, you say that the rocks are subconscious matter. So why we use rocks, minerals, and gems to heal the body sometimes? Well, to help the body to heal.
I'll repeat the question. Your question is that why do herbs help to heal the body?
No, why rocks, minerals, and quartz and gems help the body? Yes, help the body to heal. Yes.
How hands help the body to heal?
Oh,
Can
I
okay. I
think you
will
were
write it.
right. Herbs, flowers, and all. I think she's saying. I'm sorry, I thought hands, herbs, flowers, and one more word she said. How they help to heal the body.
No, I didn't say that. Okay, okay. I will send the chat.
maybe you can, yeah, you can write it. Oh, she's gone. Okay.
Monica, I think she was talking about if rock. She was talking about rocks. She said that if rocks are not so conscious or something like that, how they help heal the body. So I that's what I understood, though the voice wasn't very clear. So I
Rocks.
heard she
Okay.
was talking about rocks. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Thank you. Okay,
yeah,
maybe she will type the question for us, then it'll become more clear.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Thank-
yeah. True.
Anything you want to share or add on, Kendra?
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, anyone else? Okay, so the question is why rocks, gems, and minerals help to heal the body? Why would they not, actually? Since everything is consciousness. See, in the rock, the only thing is that when we look at a rock, it appears that as if it's dead. It's like there is no consciousness in there. But it's only the appearance of it. It's not that it is like that. So, since everything is made of consciousness, whether it's a rock or planet or air or everything, then everything has the potential to heal.
Okay, because I have the question because you say that they are unconscious or subconscious or I don't know, like something like. So I was like, why? I mean, how the subconscious matter can help?
Yeah, it helps because it is made of consciousness. See, with human beings, what do we call subconscious? Subconscious, we call that which I am consciously not aware of, which is there. It is playing its role, but I don't have to play a conscious part in making it function. It's functioning. So in the rocks and other parts also, I believe that's what is coming to me, that consciousness is functional. And also I think it's also a lot of matter of faith there, because no, it's not to everyone that the rocks and minerals, and it's like it's not 100% case that one thing will work for all. So there is a matter of subjective and objective consciousness also, that if I have faith even in a fake doctor, that doctor can actually work for me. And if I have no faith even in a very good and higher qualified doctor, no good may happen, through that. So there is again a question of that rock or mineral or salt. If it is truly effective, then it will be same result for the billions of individual it is tested upon. But is that so? That is not so. That we see with drugs also, even homeopathic medicines and many other things. The same medicine, if it is so potent, why is it not working on everyone? Because everyone is not like a piece of wood, or like the same thing. Variations of consciousness are there, and there is something called subjective and objective reality. Like that story that we have shared earlier also in sessions. There is this disciple or a devotee, and he is a very loyal devotee to his master. So the master is going from one village to another village and to another village, and this devotee is not leaving him. He says that I am going to stay with the master as long as master needs to settle down in a particular village. And then he gets a news that your son is dying. Now he has left that village behind where he used to live, but he gets the news that your son is dying. He's not well. So please come back. And he says, no, I can't come back because I have to settle down the master in the next village. So please wait, I will come down in some time. And then he goes on, and then he gets another message that, your son is really critical, he may die. He still doesn't go. He says that, still some time, my master needs to get settled. Then finally he settles down the master, and the news comes that the son is gone. He has passed away. Now, because the master is settled, he goes back to the village, and he carries the dead son on his shoulders, brings to the master, and touches master's feet with some water, like rinses his feet with the water, and uses that rinsed water, dirty water, to sprinkle on the son, the passed away body, that dead body. And the son is alive again. Now people think, oh, what a miracle, the guru, the master has done it. Like, what miraculous master. His feet are miraculous, something is really amazing. So nobody thinks anything else. Now in another village, somebody gets to know that there is a very miraculous person whose feet have such magical powers. So he calls him to his place, and he's meditating at his place, and the little son there, the child, is playing around, running around like children are, and shouting, making loud noises. But that master who is meditating in his house, he doesn't feel very good. He feels annoyed. So he like takes up the child, gets hold of him, and just throws him away and the child is dead. Little child, the child is dead. Now the person there says, but you have magical powers, I heard that you can bring the dead alive, so do your magic. So he brings the water. He says, okay, bring some water. He brings the water. He washes his own feet, the master. Not very convincing, and then he takes that water, dirty water, and sprinkles on the dead child, and nothing happens to the child. The child is still dead. But now they think of that person who was a devotee and who did all the magic. So they call him. He comes, he touches master's feet, dips the thing in the water, and with that dirty water, he sprinkles on the child, and the child is alive again. Now, what consciousness is working here? So this, yeah, I think this is how the other things that you were talking of may also work. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Thank you, Monica. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Anything anyone wants to add on?
So when we talk about the stone, the unconscious probably we are trying to say that a stone itself probably is not aware of its own properties. So it's not the stone which is aware, the consciousness is there, but it is veiled. The potentiality is there, but it is not aware because it is such a hard rock, an inert matter. But it is we human beings, which are at a much higher level of evolution, we have figured out that, and we are using that benefit to our own, that property to our own benefit. But does a stone uh, ever come forward and talk about it, or even express itself, or it is in itself not aware of its own potentiality? Probably that is what we're talking about, Monica. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yes, absolutely
yeah,
a part of it.
Claudia, probably that is what we understand when we say that that particular thing is inconscient. That the consciousness is all pervasive and it is there, the same thing in all. But it is these different instruments, like the body is most evolved, human beings. So it's different than a stone, though the consciousness, we are using it because we have that wisdom, that brain, that intelligence, and these instruments in us. So that's what I understand a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
Yes.
think that it is our consciousness or our emotions that's working, because anywhere, when you referred about this story, which is very wonderful, and homeopathy medicine or stones, anything, as you said, it is our faith. So back end is
But
our
it is
faith is leading us. So I think it is our emotion, faith and trust is working, and it is showing us guiding us. Actually, we can say. I feel
no,
so.
certainly it is there, but
Mm.
that doesn't nullify the fact that they
Mm.
do have in them their own special properties
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah,
Is whether a homeopathic medicine, whether Ayurvedic, whether an allopathic, they all have a science within that in itself is also a truth, you know. But what works for one and what doesn't work for another also depends upon how we are approaching that thing.
yeah,
उसके अंदर वो quality है,
yeah,
but our own approach towards that makes it more functional in a positive or a negative, whichever way we take it. So that same thing, uh, becomes different for different people. Though it has, a diamond has its own brilliance, a gold has its own properties,
yeah,
all metals, they have their own properties, and they do attract certain kind of energies. That in itself is true, but that attraction capacity also depends upon our approach towards whatever we are using it, if at all we are using it, gems and stones and metals and whatever. There is that whole science that I don't know much about, but certainly it is a science and it does work. Yeah.
yeah, right. We are opening the doors, actually. We are allowing them to work efficient, whatever
Yeah.
qualities, yeah, they have. Thank
True.
you.
There is a famous story of Nisarg Dutt Maharaj. Many hippies used to come to him. So hippies usually have a lot of marijuana, weed with them. And some hippie came to him and he said that this substance that I have in my hand, it has very, consciousness altering properties. So why don't you try it? Something like that. And Nisargadatta Maharaj said, I will show you that it's actually nothing. And he took the bunch that he had in his hands and he just put in his mouth and nothing really happened. Now it's again, as I think both of you, what was being shared is amazingly, part of the big game. It seems, and there are many facets also which may not even know, as you were sharing, that we may not even know. So we are just at the moment looking at a very limited little window which is open to us. And by looking at it, it seems that for example, that hippie, he believes that this has consciousness altering properties, not only his belief, but also that he is in ignorance. He doesn't know his true nature. So in ignorance, that thing has the effect, and plus the belief, and plus many other factors which are we may not be aware of. That the moment he takes this thing, something happens to his mind and brain, something opens up or whatever, he feels in a altered state of consciousness, feels relaxed and enjoys that relaxedness. But for Nisargadatta Maharaj, he already has that relaxedness and his touch with his true nature, essential nature, all the time. Now he is above the laws of that physical consciousness. He is not ruled by it. So when he uses that and consumes it, it doesn't have any power of on his consciousness. But that would not, as we were sharing, that would not be true for everyone, because we are in relative degrees of ignorance. And again, the substance may have that property, but what kind of a state of consciousness I am in also matters. Plus, as you were sharing, that substance's own consciousness or its own properties. And as Mother says, that when we more and more grow on the path and fully become one with the divine grace, then the laws of physical universe are not anymore applicable on us. So I think it's really, the only word that comes is very amazing, so vast that one cannot really fathom it, and works in so many possible ways. Yes, Ritu. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just share another thing here. During the Corona times, there were some places in India, spiritual, religiously very prominent places like Mathura, Vrindavan and all. And in some of those ashrams, I think even in the ISKCON temple, they believe that we are being protected by Krishna and nothing is gonna be affecting us. So we are kind of, we don't need vaccination. We are kind of protected against corona. So that cannot touch our temple or our city. But then they were so strongly thinking about it and they didn't take much precautions, which were going on everywhere. But then they all were affected and the temples were shut down. So their belief was very strong.
I mean,
But
how do we know? We
because
can't.
I remember that even I once visited one of those during that time and they were like, Radha Rani to hamara kuch nahi, matlab hamara khayal rakhengi, nothing can affect us. We have complete faith that the God we believe in will protect us. So no precautions, nothing. So but people
So
died there.
Ritu,
Yeah.
I would like to just add a little that what people say that we believe, what they are saying it in words, and they do believe that they believe, but what is the level of their sense of surrender? That is very hard. That is not on the surface for anybody to see. And it is just by saying it's not enough. We have to live it. And it's not just sitting and बहुत लोग भजन करते हैं, कीर्तन करते हैं, आउटवर्डली हमें बहुत दिखता है कि कितना भक्ति है इनके अंदर. Well, we are nobody to judge. I'm not saying that we can ever judge, and neither can we ever judge. But what is apparent on the outside not necessarily be as deep inside, because that is an internal story. So कहना कि मैं भगवान प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे, बट तुमने अपने इंस्ट्रूमेंट को, अपने इस बॉडी को अगर उस तरह से तैयार नहीं किया है, अपने को साधा नहीं है, तो सिर्फ ये कहना और ये विश्वास रखना काफी नहीं है. Work has to be done in this direction. Just by saying it in mere words is not enough. What is the work that has been done? Because बहुत भजन कीर्तन भी कर रहे हैं, but अंदर की attitude क्या है? Is that total surrender? It's very difficult. It's not easy to bring your entire mind, body, and everything to that total immersion of everything and all these instruments of our mind, body, everything into God. तो वो level of तैयारी तो एक जर्नी है, पता नहीं किसी की होगी भी, और उसमें बहुत ऐसे होंगे जिनको आसपास हो भी रहे होंगे तो उनको इफेक्ट नहीं किया होगा, या किसी को किया भी होगा तो वो क्विक उनकी रिलीफ भी हो गई होगी. There were all kinds of people. We saw that in Corona times, some people were very badly affected. Some people were getting the same virus and recovering much quicker. And some did escape that virus, or maybe they had it, but the physical symptoms did not appear. So all of us have our own level of immunity. And when I say level of immunity, it is our own, you know, uh, the vibration of the body. As we say that cells are made up of atoms. And we were talking about the true and the false matter just when we were trying to recapitulate the last class, Mother was talking about that the true matter is something else, very light, like fluid, but it is so much of added on it, which makes it heavy and burden with so much things, our thoughts, our beliefs and all that. तो हमें नहीं पता है, frankly, coming back to the present, what we were discussing, तो हमें नहीं पता है. वो कह तो रहे हैं, but अपनी जिंदगी में क्या वो वाकई जी रहे हैं उस सच्चाई, उस प्योरिटी के साथ हर पल, उस समर्पण के साथ उनके हर एक्ट में क्या वो सेंस ऑफ सरेंडर है? खाते पीते सोते बोलते उठते जागते, क्या वो हर सांस में, क्या वो उनके हर सांस में क्या रमी हुई है भगवान कृष्ण? क्या वाकई बहुत बड़ी बात है. और ये हो अगर है तो फिर शायद होगा, हो रहा होगा, अब पता नहीं. I don't know, I can't comment on that, but we can't say. It is not on surface for anybody to see and comment. It is very deep inside, so it is difficult to say just by seeing, कि ऐसा क्यों होगा. बट ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चंस तो होने चाहिए, तभी ये इंटरेस्टिंग डिस्कशंस भी होते हैं, एंड वी ऑल गेट टू लर्न फ्रॉम ईच अदर. सो थैंक यू.
या थैंक यू प्रियंका. ना एक और भी चीज की इस चीज को जज करना, जैसे मदर कहती हैं, somebody now the premise that we are using here is that how do I know that I am protected by divine when I would not get corona. ये कहाँ से आया?
ये भी नहीं है. एग्जैक्टली. Sometimes I am getting the corona because maybe I have to walk that journey to evolve out of it, and then I will rise up. So maybe even if when I'm getting corona, I might still be protected. So it's not always just what we want, the comfortable things or good things only. Then we can say yes, मैं बड़ी divine soul हूँ, मेरे को नहीं हुआ. और मेरे को हो भी क्या तो भी मैं divine soul हो सकती हूँ, और नहीं हुआ तो भी. It is either ways anything. Yes, Monica, sorry to
yeah, totally, yeah, resonating, and as mother shares that हम यहाँ पे, why are we here? Terrestrial human existence, very clearly it is there for progress of consciousness, evolution of consciousness. अब उसके सामने मदर कहती हैं the biggest tragedies that you can think of, they are part of the game. Why? Because they are evolving our consciousness. तो अब वो मुद्दा ही खत्म हो गया ना कि if I don't get corona, it means I am protected by the divine. If I get corona, it means I am not protected, something is wrong, है ना. तो वो मुद्दा ही नहीं है. चाहे as you were sharing that चाहे कोरोना होगा नहीं होगा, चाहे कोई और illness होगी नहीं होगी, or anything else that I have to go through, the mudda is, the crux of the matter is, am I evolving through all those experiences?
Yeah, but here we were talking about the beliefs, na? So they had those strong beliefs, like we have belief in homeopathic doctor or a stone.
Yeah.
I know
think there I would resonate what Priyanka was sharing, that how do I see, I don't even know how deep in is my belief. ना दूसरे के बारे में, चाहे वो ऊपर से कैसा भी दिखता हो, how to, है ना, मतलब उसको आप कैसे मेजर कैसे करोगे, है ना. और हमारे मेजर भी वही, हमारी कैटेगरीज भी कितनी लिमिटेड होती है, मतलब कैसे. और मदर कहती हैं, वैसे दिस इज वेरी क्लियर इन many stories where mother would be giving medicines, recommending medicines to ashramites when she was physically there. She would say one thing which is coming again and again, especially in terms of medicines. Mother says, if he or she has faith in that, then it will work for her. So same thing, maybe sometimes surgery. Somebody has faith that surgery will cure me. Then mother says, okay, then, go ahead. Then at the other thing, mother says that, oh, she doesn't have faith in surgery, but she has faith in an astrologer. So mother permits, although she maybe would not go directly by astrology, but she knows that things have their own place. And she says, okay, if she has faith in astrology and wants to meet that astrologer, okay, she must go and meet the astrologer. तो फेथ की बात है, अगर किसी को लग रहा है मेरी सर्जरी की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, मेरे को एस्ट्रोलॉजर के मिलने से आराम मिल जाएगा, भैया मिल ले, है ना. किसी को लग रहा है नहीं नहीं एस्ट्रोलॉजर गया उधर, wherever, I want to go to the hospital, get admitted, and get the surgery done, then I will be okay after the radiation and the, whatever is required. Then mother says, okay, go ahead. So यहाँ पे I think again we see that many little factors are there, but the beautiful little animals that we can surely see is first faith, that is which comes again and again, a concrete unshakable faith in. Kabhi kabhi kya hota hai, you would see when we have faith in people in our life, some people might be there, a couple, where there is a deep bonding, love is there, and the doctor is saying something else, but you say no, if I meet that person, that person only understands me and I want to go to her, talk to him or whatever. So we don't know in what ways these things work.
Yeah.
है ना, मतलब कितना आप देखो कितना it's like it's vast expanse and our limited mind can see only something,
Yeah, but sometimes like believing in certain stones and all can also be a bit like superstition.
कुछ लोगों के लिए काम करता है, सुनो, what can we say. हमारे लिए नहीं कर रहा, we may not use it, but we may have our own superstitions, actually we may not be aware of it. that जब तक मैं सुबह नहा नहीं लेती तब तक मेरा mind fresh नहीं होता. Again, what is it?
Yeah.
And then there are people who are for 5 days not taking a bath, still alive and working mentally. I know of many people like that.
One or two small things. I've seen that a lot of time people don't really have faith, but saying certain things are just convenient. Like if I just say this, no, here it would not happen. I do, it's like, okay, I'm sitting somewhere, somebody tells me about this thing that's happening. I say, no, I don't need to worry about that, because if I have to worry about that, there are 15 things I'll have to do practically to, protect the ashram, to have sanitizers. Who wants to go there? We are protected. So I personally feel that is more there. It's more out of convenience than faith. And secondly, if I go to that ashram and I see here that person saying that, yahan pe kuch nahi hota, I would say, ha, right? Yeah, you're right. And under say, I will be laughing or I'll be saying, yeah, right? So that also affects, right, the sanctity of the place, because the inherent faith, although these ashrams were led and formed by people who touched the divine. But now these are just, again, they are managed by mostly business-oriented people. It's now just because it's there. So they are not standing on faith. So every person that visits and who hears this, or doesn't even hear, who has this belief that, oh my God, Corona is here, that would affect that place. So I think that would really, it makes a difference, because, yeah. And about the thing about, things having that inherent power, and yet for some it works, for some it doesn't. I was reminded of the Hanuman, right? Like he could fly, but he didn't know he could fly. So he had to be told, and he had to discover that power within, that yes, I had to fly. So technically that power is useless till I see that that power is there. So similarly, for everything, including myself, right? Like countless people now, maybe not countless, and yet a lot of people have said that I am divine, right? So that means I do have everything that the divine has, and yet that knowing is no good to me, because I don't really am inculcating those things, I'm not invoking those things, I'm not believing those things. So again, how, it's a bit symbolic that if I believe in something, it becomes true for me. So that belief in myself also. Like if say we are reading this book, there could be some things which we would be like, oh come on, man, that's just too much, right? So then for me to actually put it into my life is tough because, and the other attitude is I don't see how that would happen. And yet if say mother is saying or Sri Aurobindo is saying or the divine himself it feels is saying, so what would I know, right? Me with my limited capacity to comprehend, what would I know? So must be true. Although I don't see it, but I do believe must be true. So it depends how we want to go and how much we want to take in, right? That helps with that. Yeah, thank you.
So then, Monica and Daru, if we believe in magic or if we believe in the portals, negative things or this are going to affect us. But if we don't believe in that, I want to think that then we are going to be out of that influence.
I
But
think there is something, maybe one element maybe I see here. See, if something outwardly is there, maybe as you said, black magic or whatever, it's not that just as a matter of me not believing it mentally would make me immune to that black magic. It's not like that. I don't think, again, as we were discussing, that there are many, many elements which we are not even aware of. So just me not believing that, oh, this is nothing, just that is not enough for me to be away from its effects. There is something more that is needed. I feel, again, with the limited view, that I feel that parallelly I must have a solid, which we were talking of, a solid faith and foundation, which only I would be aware how solid and strong that is. And for that, the life needs to be very, very pure life, because usually we have such impure minds and feelings and thoughts. We have lots of ill will in the hearts are closed, and in various degrees. So we live impurified lives. Our lives are not purified. So to me, whose life is not purified enough, not stabilized and anchored and rooted in the divine, I just saying that, oh, this is nothing and that's not going to harm me or touch me, I feel that that's not enough. I feel that I need to be, with my purification, increasing level of purification, I need to be in a greater grounding with the divine, so that I can be sure that, see, as Alokda shares many a times, if the VIP, which is the mother, if VIP is walking with you, how would you care about, people loitering around and asking you for your I-card or anything? Because you are walking next to the VIP. But the problem is we are not walking next to the VIP every time. We are in our thoughts most of the time. We are not with the mother. Our thoughts are not purified. So in that case, we cannot say that just by saying that, oh, I don't believe in something outward, and that's why it's not going to touch me. I feel that's not enough. This is just some mental construction which is not enough. So some greater purity and solidity in divine is needed here. Yeah. Yes, Umaji, thank you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you.
okay, yes, thank you. Yes, I understand all these things of the belief, and the physical is different. That the mental is easy to transform, and physical is more heavy and difficult to transform. So, and then all these aspects of faith, of healing the body, is have to be with the physical. I understand, with this matter that is very heavy. So if we surrender completely to the mother and to our faith, even Christ, he was telling, if you believe completely in me, you are going to be healed. Yes, if you surrender. I mean, even if you touch me, but you believe. I mean, you not believe like mentally, but like you say, like surrender, like everything. In that moment, you are going to be healed. And in Christian, they say that this faith have to be so small, like a seed of a mustard. I don't know, a seed of, like, it's so small. You don't need like to be like showing everywhere or something and speaking or singing or whatever. So everything is coming from inside. But I always say that I believe, but I still ill, So I don't know what I am doing wrong, So it's just like,
Claudia, here I think what comes to me is that if I am on the path of surrender, I don't need to worry whether I am healed or not, because this doesn't come to me. And I am talking a person who has, gone through cancer. Cancer is something which is, you don't know when it comes back, when it just takes you away, eats you up. Who knows, right? Who knows? So, but I feel that for me, this much is enough, that I am with the mother on the path, and I don't need to know whether I am healed, not healed, whether cancer is going to come back. If it comes back, okay, I will go through it again. I mean, what can I do? So somehow I feel that if there is surrender in me of any relative degree, not doesn't have to be absolute surrender, even if there is a bit of faith in the mother and a kind of a companionship, intimacy with her, I mean, I don't ask myself this question, am I healed? When I will be healed? Will the disease come back to me? Will it not come back to me? Now that all is just left to the mother. Wouldn't she know better what to do with this life? So I feel that this question of whether I'm healed, not healed, whether my surrender is complete, why am I not healing fully, this will all not my matter of concern. Because this path of surrender itself is enough. It gives you contentment, it brings you with the mother. I mean, what a blessing. What all do I ask for? Just being in touch with the mother in this very life. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. So why would I need to know whether the healing is full or not? When will it happen?
Monica, I think we all understand surrender in our own ways. And I think surrender is a huge spectrum, starting from beginning to even surrendering to that ultimate absolute surrender, where when absolute surrender would mean you are one with divine, you are in total union, yoga. Well, well, that is a journey that eventually all of us are aspiring for. But right now, it is a huge, long journey where question marks and doubts are there. And the more the doubts, more the questions are there, we need to also understand that the surrender is lacking somewhere, because the moment the mind is questioning and doubting, or even, well, it will. I mean, there's no harm in it, because if that is the very nature of who I am, or that is where my level of consciousness is, questions will come. But that is what we have to transcend. But we cannot say that we are in surrender. Just we want to, certainly we all want to. But where there is surrender, probably that's what little bit that I understand, there would be, these questions would automatically dissolve. They would bother me less, and there would be more acceptance of whatever it is, whatever challenges that are there in life, or whatever goodness that happens in life. I am equally embracing, at least trying, looking for a reason to embrace even the challenge, even if I'm trying, because it's so difficult to embrace a challenging situation, something which is not not desirable. But yet, if I'm looking for trying to understand how to accept it, I think we are beginning to learning to surrender. That still, I think, is still a beginning. So I think it's beautiful that at least we are, even if that beginning is there, we should be happy because it will take us to our better self, and then there would be more dissolution of all the doubts, questions, and even the acceptance of the challenges, the things that are uncomfortable, things that we think are imperfections of our life. And probably we will be more accepting to the imperfections, and they will probably not sound like imperfections. So that is a journey, and a beautiful journey, isn't it? Because, जैसे कहते हैं ना, medical doctors, ECG, all of us have seen it, and how it is not as, that curve of an ECG is like up and down, up and down. It's so wavy. When you all have seen some ECG at some point of life, and you see when a person dies, it becomes straight. So jab tak ye jivan hai, there will be ups and downs, and it doesn't just go up, it goes down, dips down. There is a baseline, and some of the curves of the ECG go above the baseline, and then it dips down below the baseline, and then it rises up again. And it's such a beautiful thing. So if you haven't ever seen an ECG, please Google it, and वो कहीं पे कहीं ना दिख ही जाएगा. आप देखना, उसका एक baseline है, and then there are PQRST waves, because I'm not trying to talk the medical science, but these waves, some of them are above, and there's one wave which goes down, and then it comes up again. And that is how beautiful life is. It has to go up and down till the time life is. And only when life goes away, it becomes a straight line. So I guess that's how surrender is also. We will question our own surrender, go down, dip down, rise up, and then probably merge someday. I don't know when. But it has to happen, isn't it, Monica? Whenever.
For those of us who have not seen ECG, here is ECG.
Yeah, wonderful. So can you see the up one going so high, and can you see some of it dipping down? And that's the baseline. The lower picture is much clearer. So there are waves which are down, there are waves which are up. So that's how this is repetitive thing which happens, and you can see that. There are so many pictures. Sorry to bring in the medical.
No, I think it's resonating. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you.
But you're so good at it. You are an encyclopedia of it. I think.
No, I just have Google.
I don't know, Monica. I'm amazed at your. You have an answer to everything. So
No,
beautiful
please. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing,
From
Prem.
somewhere it emerges,
Yeah,
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for making it available to us. All the PDFs and everything.
Yeah, I just find it on Google. Thank you.
I can't ever find it, and you tend to find it. So that's so easy for us. You make it so easy for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, anything to add on? Anyone? So I think we can actually go on discussing this. There are many things that can be shared here, which I am reminded of. For example, that mother would share that something on meat. Maybe I will share from this another book, and then maybe we can end after that. So mother talks about somebody asked a question on meat, and then she was first sharing. Somebody asked what happens if one eats meat, and then mother shares a story that once a Swedish woman who was doing sadhana, she by habit was a vegetarian, but on a party night, like she was eating out with friends, and she had a chicken for dinner. And that night, because she was doing sadhana, so she was on a different level, she felt really miserable that night, and as if the consciousness of that chicken came into her, and she really felt that as if her, like she was getting slit from here, so as if she is experiencing what the chicken goes through. And for her it was not right. It was a signal that, wrong turn almost. So mother shares that this is what happens more or less when you eat meat, because you swallow the consciousness of the animal also along with what you eat. But then mother says it is not very serious, but it is not always very pleasant. And obviously it does not bring you in being on the side of man rather than on the beast. So it takes us towards our animalistic side rather than progressing from the animalistic side, which we are trying to do through sadhana. So then mother shares that uh, those of us who are not doing sadhana, they will not be affected much, although the effect will be there, because they are not becoming conscious in their life. So like that woman who was doing sadhana had a dream suddenly that not aligned maybe with the inner truth, and that's why, like kind of a nightmare or almost a revelation that what was happening. But this won't happen to ordinary us who are not doing sadhana. So she shares that it depends absolutely on each one's state of consciousness. For an ordinary man living an ordinary life, having ordinary activities, not thinking of at all anything except earning his living, keeping himself fit, and perhaps taking care of his family, it is good to eat meat. It is all right for him to eat anything at all, whatever agrees with him, whatever does him good. So see, again we see that how these rules keeps on changing. So one thing cannot be a formula for everybody. But she adds on, but if one wishes to pass from this ordinary life to a higher one, the problem begins to become interesting. And if, after having come to a higher life, one tries to prepare oneself for transformation, this is what we were reading, the bodily transformation, then it becomes very important to know what we are eating, to know the consciousness of it. For there certainly are foods which help the body to become subtle, others which keep it in the state of animality. But it is only at that particular time that it becomes very important, not before. So when I am ready for the physical consciousness sadhana, early I start with thoughts, I start with feelings, and then I come to the body transformation. So now at this level it becomes absolutely important, the kind of food and the consciousness I have. So then she shares, at this particular time it becomes very important, not before. And before reaching that moment, there are many other things to do. This is what we were sharing earlier. Certainly, it is better to purify one's mind, purify one's vital, before thinking of purifying one's body. So we start from purification of thoughts, feelings, and then the body. Certainly it is better to purify one's mind, purify vital, and before thinking of purifying one's body. For even if you take all possible precautions and live physically, taking care not to absorb anything except what will help subtleize your body, make it more subtle, if your mind and vital remain in the state of desire, inconscience, darkness, passion, and all the rest, all these intruders, that won't be of any use at all. So if I am bringing sattvic food in life, mother, according to the mother, my body consciousness I have started working on bringing sattvic food in life, turning vegan, but the thoughts and feelings are all impure, full of desire, ambition, pride, lust, greed, all of that, then mother says it won't be of use at all. Only your body will become weak, dislocated from the inner life, and one fine day it will fall ill because it is not ready for that purity. So I think this is very, very vital and important. I just stumbled upon this paragraph and maybe thought today it will really resonate with what bodily transformation that we were talking of. That we cannot escape these essential steps of purifying our thoughts, becoming conscious, what am I thinking throughout the day, what are my feelings about everyone and myself, again turning them to the divine, to the mother all the time as much as possible, and then turning to, okay, what kind of food I am eating, is it helping me? How does my body feel when I eat that kind of a food? So then working on the body consciousness, because if I do it the other way around, then the body is not prepared for it, so it may fall ill. So I found it very revelatory, because again, there are no rules and things work for.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes, Cloud.
I think that is true. I mean, when someone becomes vegetarian or vegan, goes with all the people telling that they are wrong and they are killing animals. I mean, I think that is what the mother doesn't want, because we are lower going like against the nature of peace and tranquility and happiness. So it's something that I bother me all the time when I find a vegetarian and begins to tell me that I am killing thousands of animals, and then put in me like so heavy energy that I'm like, oh God, I mean, sometimes I eat meat and I don't have this heavy energy when I eat the meat, because I don't have this like for me it's like something, I mean, familiar, in the family. I mean, it's like mom and dad that is home, and it's nothing bad. But then comes this person and says something bad, and then it's like, oh, my stomach hurts and everything is bad. And then what was bad there, the meat or the feeling of the other person, of the energy that I allow that enters in my body. So again, it's everything about transformation and about what the mother's saying. It's so good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yes. I find that's one of the reasons I find Jane Goodall's story amazingly inspirational, because there we see that she's working for a cause, moving so many people to that cause, turning their consciousness around, and she's doing with so much love and compassion, rather than forming a cult and saying that, oh, you dirty fellows, why don't you take care of chimpanzees and have them some honor and dignity. But the way she is doing, or she has been doing for so many years, it's very, very inspirational, because there we see that purity in intention, we see that purity in feelings, and she doesn't somehow make you feel bad. So it's easy to turn people around when you don't make them feel bad. Yeah, it has a lot of power. Yeah. So I think it's good to maybe take a last few comments if there are any, and we will start on page 17, the last line, the next time when we pick up. Yeah, any last comments, anyone?
Monica, would it be possible to share what you just read? It was very beautiful. So
Yes,
would
I
like
can.
to.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yeah,
thank you.
just that. Thank you.
Yeah, anything else, anyone? All right, so thank you for joining in. And today I was sharing, when I shared the link, that we don't know how lucky we are, uh, since we can come here, click on the Zoom button, attend a Zoom call, understand what's going on, read the words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, have the a little bit of clarity to reflect upon it. I mean, this is so much of blessing, and we have no idea that all these functions are operational, and how lucky really we are, really. So may all of us be more and more lucky and realize that how lucky we are. And
Really.
yeah, thank
Nowadays, actually, I just wanted to share one thing. When you said this gratitude thing, always when in our earlier classes also you mentioned about it, but seriously, I felt it during this Navaratri, etc. Here, Parayana used to happen, Lalita Parayana thing. So the words we need to utter properly, right? Mantrakshara. When I was doing it, really, I was feeling so good, and I'm praying God, Saraswati Mata, whatever that God, the divine, has given me to utter it properly. We should have that mind, capacity to read, capacity to understand, and the opportunity. So everything, whether when we are using our hands, legs, eyes. So nowadays I'm really feeling so much about this. So because I have eyes, I'm able to see something very good. And because I'm able to read, for example, this mother's words, everything, whatever I can take in. So I think, and really, really, really gratitude to all the Panchabhutas and Divine Mother. And I think we don't know, unless we don't have that, we don't know how much, I mean, we are losing it. So thank you also for giving us this opportunity, Monica. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Happy practice and thank you. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica.
Bye.